Hey, baby, hey, you love me. Oh, I love you too. And yes, I want the world to know that I am yours. And baby, there's no reason to hide. As the day goes by, I love you even more. Sure, as the sea races through the shore. Everywhere I go, everybody knows I love you. Oh, and there is nowhere in the world I'd rather to be. And when I'm weak and down and out, she strengthens me. Yeah. Place your beautiful head on my beating heart. Everywhere I go, everybody knows I love you. And it was written in the stars. Look now, here you are. And every night I hope and pray that somewhere out there, someone made for me. God made you beautiful. He made you divine. Spend a lot of time coming up with your design. No worry about the mayhem. Things will be fine. You're always on my mind. Not ashamed.
Good afternoon.
Heart has no tempo without you.
Grand rising.
Only that I would find my destiny written in the stars. Look now, here you are. And many nights I hope and pray.
Happy New Week. Hope you guys are doing amazing today.
Someone made for me.
You had a beautiful weekend. Doing a beautiful week.
Hey, you love me.
Miss Joby to our first time listeners.
I love you.
Returning listeners.
Hey,
3 minutes past the top of the hour.
baby. Oh, you love me. Hey, I love you too.
Yes, Karibuni sana once again. That is for you by the one and only Turbulence. I love me this jam. And I woke up, it's just kept on singing on my mind, and I said today I must start the show with it. But Karibuni sana, hope you guys are doing great. Hope your weekend was fantastic. Mine was awesome. I can't complain. Ready for the week, and of course ready for all the shows, and I hope so are you as you stay and stick with us right here on this amazing platform where we talk about nothing but the truth, news and updates of what is happening in Africa, and of course presenting the African culture, the African hair. I feel literally so African with all these colors and the braids on my head. Bakaribuni sana. Hope you guys are doing great. One more time, remember you can grab yourself this application for you to tune in every single day with us, or rather in case you're busy and you're not able to stream on YouTube, you can always listen to us via the radio station. We have the app and available. That is on the Google Play Store. If you are an Android device user, if you are an iPhone user, you can use our website's link, that is the www.blackoutfirenetwork.com. But of course, without wasting much more of the time, we also have amazing supplements which I do love to share, but today I'm not going to share. I want us to get straight to the conversation, and of course we're going to be focusing on what one of the most amazing, and I'd say the mainstream media and the white people are about to call it controversial. As you can see, Burkina Faso, which is actually banning, it has actually banned, it has banned the NGOs from photographing Africans who are in vulnerable situations. And we're going to be looking at that majorly because, of course, this is something we've talked about, we've seen, and I think right here what we keep on talking about is how the image of Africa has been completely destroyed, and we try to change that. Of course, there's so much to be changed with all this corruption, the puppets who are leading the countries, controlling, selling the countries. It's a lot. There's a lot, but there's also a really bad image or portray of Africa that has been put out there that has actually continued running till to date. That narrative of Africa being poor, we know it is full of resources. The people have been kept in poor conditions, and we keep on talking about this as well. We've seen so much exposure of children with kwashiako, not gonorrhea, kwashiako, kwashiako, malaria. Then there was a typhoid, cholera, and there's another marasmus. We grew up also, for us, seeing on the textbooks, there's just some kids somewhere who are suffering. And it's crazy because I was just reading some article which was talking about how Africa needs so much, and especially because of the growing of the population come 2075 or even 2050, Africa will need so much vaccinations. Literally, that is what it is when you talk about immunizations. So I didn't continue reading the article because I was like, I know this is added. And of course, looking at the companies mentioned, we have UNICEF and so much. Bunch of these companies, we know who they are controlled by. Again, why is the issue always Africans? And I loved me a video of Dr. Arikana, who actually questions why don't we see these people going to Europe? Because we do have people in Europe who are suffering. We do have people on the streets in Europe. We have so many poor people, literally, but they never show us also this side of them. I think literally, thank God to today's people being the media. People can at least go streaming. You see the streets, you see there's actually a bunch of white people who are wasted on crack and all that. Normally it's always been the image of black people. Even when it comes to America, what we're talking about, the destroying of music, now to the point of where people are completely destroyed now with the crack and all these drugs being brought. That was the image that was being sold, from bling bling, you've been a thug, having multiple women, and then to being a whole wasted junkie. Literally, it's super, super crazy. So that's what we're going to be focusing on as of today. But before we get into all that, we're going to start with some news and updates of what is happening, of course, in Kenya. And I love this discussion because I've been talking about tribalism. I talked about this on Friday. I was quite a little bit angry because of this lady, how she was explaining her point without understanding that tribalism is not really, she mentioned it, but tribalism is not really a discussion in today's generation. We are one of the generations that don't want anything to do with tribalism. So I love the fact that actually this generation again, which are going to be the most participating in come next year's election, they have started actually talking about what we can see politicians pushing, because I've been discussing about presidential candidates being reduced, which is very important for me to understand why, unless we're going through the system, which Keith made me understand how America runs, you could have maybe 20 presidential candidates or maybe 10, and then the number reduces still to two, the Democrats, one from the Democrats and one from the Republicans, that would really make sense. But having this all political parties or multiple parties in Africa, which again we saw a country like Tanzania during Magufuli's era, he banned this because I think he had understood, again, this is what it takes when it comes to a real leader and when it comes to actually Africa and the problems being solved. You have to understand what problem has been causing so many maybe division amongst the people within your country, and then figure out how you can solve that. He had banned the media, which we've seen also the same system the Alliance Sahel state is using. They have banned multiple parties, not really all of them, but they're quite now, of course, not working together with the original people who are controlling the country. So when we look at most of the countries, I think I discussed this whole thing. We've seen this as actually, this is what has kept Africans divided. And then when it comes to the ballot paper or voting, and then someone from this tribe loses, it becomes now a war because this one's won and this one's don't accept that this one's won. And then it comes with now these tribal indifferences. And this has to be dealt with. So shout out to the Gen Zs in Kenya, to be specific, for understanding this. Shout out to also the millennials who have at least some bit of critical thinking and information, to understand also and look at our previous events and what might lead to the current event. We've been seeing tribalism being the topic today in Kenya, but we're not with this. We are not with this. So this is a survivor of the 2007 and 2008 election. Again, you have to understand when you talk about survivors and looking at his age, this is people definitely my age, because in 2007 I was in class 3, so probably he was in class 3, 4, or 5, not that old from me, probably 3 years older or maybe even younger. So yes, so many children actually did survive this election, because remember, we had people being burnt in the houses. If you are a Luo, by Kikuyus, you are being burnt by Kikuyus. If you are a Kikuyu, if you're found by a group of Luo people and because you are attacking their group, the same thing happens, to the point of the chopping of heads using pangas and all that. It was really, really chaotic, So of course we have children who survived this. We have people who have scars, wounds. People have not yet healed from this incident. So trying to see actually today's government, what they're trying to push and pushing us toward that edge, that is what we're saying no towards. So yes, he says he's a survivor of the 2007 and 8 election, and is actually talking about how we can prevent tribalism, or looking at the factors of so many things that might lead to war, not war, but the violence, just like we saw in 2007. So he says, when you see the signs, of course, number one is the tribal rhetoric. Tribalism, of course, is the major factor, because when we have these campaigns, understand there's someone from the Kisii, the Luo, the Kikuyu, they are all going. And again, we also see it in development. When someone comes in, instead of developing the whole county, they first rush to their homes. Even Ruto himself told you, oh, you can't build a whole country when your road is still muddy. Are you crazy? You're supposed to develop the whole country. And this is where corruption literally comes in. We can see it bluntly. So he talks about tribalism and the tribal rhetoric. And then we have, of course, the US, the us versus them, where we have to understand this didn't work back then. That was in 2006, literally, when the campaigns were happening. This didn't work at all. Understanding that we're suffering the same problem, and we need to come together against these politicians, because they have something to deliver. We are the bosses. They work for us, period. And then another one is the youth mobilization for violence, which worked back then very well. And we can see the same thing repeating itself. Now, we're gonna pause on that very quickly, and I share a video of what happened on Saturday. This is literally, again, a group of people. This is so sad. A group of really grown-ass women and men. This is not even the Gen Zs. This is the saddest part. Who are working together with the police officers to go cause chaos. And now this is becoming a trend, because during this weekend we've had so many robbery cases. Sadly, I feel like this is becoming South Africa. We've had so many robbery cases, and at a gunpoint. At a gunpoint. Sometimes I always feel like, man, maybe my area is quite safer, because the first time when I moved there was a thug that was shot. So that sent an alarm or a warning, don't mess around here. So we're like, nothing can happen around here, nothing. But sometimes when I'm in the studio, during the night, you're gonna hear the women making noise, shouting, their handbags stolen or their phone stolen, and the thug, they just run away. That is at the back of the studio. So, hey, this country is becoming a mess. So looking at the 2006 campaign and election, the youth were mobilized to, this is what the tribalism now built, and that, which is the number one mentioned. That's why it built up, because we're like, go be the Kikuyus, because if you don't be the Kikuyus, you're gonna, but now the youth are trying to actually ban that culture. But who is Ruto? Who is Ruto? Let me show you. Let me cue that video very quickly of what happened during the weekend. We had so many incidents of goons. We had one of the goon organizers who was killed by the politicians who are hiring him, which has led to demonstration of now other more goons. It's really, every day we're just waking up, we're seeing more chaos and more chaos. Let me see. Okay, so we have this one. Yeah, let me show you this one, what I'm talking about. And this is because of lack of providing job opportunities. So you can easily for people to take some petty money to go commit crimes. Man, because the security in Kenya now is becoming very dangerous. So these were people just chilling in a restaurant. This is yesterday in the morning or Saturday in the evening, according to the time I saw the video. Either in the morning or in the evening. A group of two young men with a gun came and they took everything, phones, laptops. You know, here you can see it's a group of people who are literally having probably a business meeting. Everything gone. And then I think there's someone who's tried to escape. They shot. It's becoming chaotic. So this is the first incident.
This video is about to expose just how ignorant the Ministry of Interior is when it comes to life-threatening incidents.
It's not even the Minister of Interior. This is from the President. From the President, because understand that this is the same person who was, of course, appointed this Minister of Interior. What? Dropouts. Literally, we have dropouts. People are saying shoot on the leg. Shoot to kill. These are the people who are... But again, it's the system. It's the system. It's not just Kenya. It is the system. Ruto has to do this.
You see, the streets are being quietly surrendered to a wooden club carrying panga and rungus brandishing individuals who have now graduated to a gun-toting characters tasked with making sure they rape from where they did not sow. Let me explain. On Saturday, July 4th at around 22:34:05 p.m., the footage shows a restaurant in full swing. Diners seated at a well-known restaurant in Nairobi enjoying their evening tea, completely unaware that their quiet Saturday was about to become a headline. Then barely a minute later, a man wearing a Marvin cape and a white jacket walks in, cocking his gun, and according to the footage, starts robbing people inside. Seconds later, he is joined by a second man in a black cape and a purple jacket, also armed. And the duo moves with the speed and confidence of people who didn't come to negotiate. The man in purple appears to leave with what looks like a laptop. From start to finish, the robbery takes about 35 seconds. Then they exit. And to make sure everyone remembers the moment, a shot is fired into the air as they flee, leaving behind a spent cartridge. Now, one would reasonably expect that an armed restaurant robbery in Kenya's capital, caught on camera and time-stamped, would trigger some form of official response, a statement, an acknowledgement, or even a promise that the suspects' faces are already being ran through database at the DCI. Instead, Kenyans went looking for answers online and got disappointed. For instance, when Kenyans who went to official pages to look for answers, they found a 14-hour-old post on the DCI page, and I kid you not, a Sunday service poster on Kenya police page. Yani, while criminals were
Imagine.
cooking guns in restaurants, the people paid to stop them were apparently busy preparing their praise and worship graphics for the morning.
Occasioned by these measures, and at the same time appreciate their effectiveness in securing the city and other parts of the country.
And the silence goes all the way to the top of the house. For instance, Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen has been notably absent from the crime conversation appearing more interested in TikTok challenges than the security of Nairobi.
Imagine. I keep on talking about this. Man, I love how these people were just somehow behind the internet. Like, the only time we could see them or they could catch our attention is when they are making a speech. I don't understand why these people have been allowed to be on social media doing TikTok challenges. Exactly. What? Where do you get that time? Children are disappearing. Women are getting raped and killed. Men, we have a bunch of goons, which of course is coordinated by you. So that's why you won't do anything. Okay. We have so many things happening in this country. But this fat looking, I don't want to be abusive, but yeah.
Diners.
Wow.
Meanwhile, his PS Raymond Omolo is busy on Twitter bragging about the regime's road building achievements.
Which one?
Which again is not unimportant. But roads are significantly less useful when armed men are using them to escape after robbing restaurants in the capital.
Exactly. Day we will learn these politicians are always playing mind games with us. You get 500 Kenyan shillings, which is worth nothing today. 500 Kenyan shillings back then could take you even at least 3 days at most, or even a week. Today, 500 Kenyan shillings, you spend it the whole day. How much is bread? Almost 100 bob. How much is milk? Almost 100 bob. Probably you need sugar, because if you can't afford to buy shopping every day, you go buy sukari quarter. Sukari quarter, which will take you for only 2 days. If you have a family of 3 or 4, it's not enough. Go to the ugali flour. I'm buying the same thing or the same price, the same as you. You're busy beating people who are literally fighting for your country out there. Just because of 500 Kenyan shillings. There's a question that lady asked last week, and it's actually supposed to be applied now. What is your worth? You know, what is your worth? Is your worth is 500 Kenyan shillings? You're not worth the whole country. Like, you don't feel like you demand you're supposed to be living comfortably in your country and in every way, health, school, roads, food, water, everything. What is your worth? This is really, really sad. This is sad. And this is what, now going back to this post, what this guy is talking about. Because they've been trying to use tribalism on this generation. It's not working. But they're still trying to push tribalism on our faces. Exactly. We said we're not gonna be tribal, and we said it's gonna be us against them. Us versus them, literally. They went ahead and said, oh, this tactic is actually working, and tribalism is not working. So what can we do? Turn them against each other. The youth mobilization for violence, which has become a culture now today. We have political intolerance. We have elections anxiety, which are still very much active. We need to understand what really happened in 2007. Like, we can't go back to that. We can't go back to that. We can't go back to that. Tribalism is not helping and won't help. And I want you to understand how tribalism in a country like Burkina Faso, which I bet that is a conversation they're not talking about right now. Because understand, when we have the terrorists, the are they called the terrorists, the jihadists, all those names they're given, the Al-Shabaabs, the ISIS. When those people are present, they're the ones actually causing war. Of course, they're paid to. These are paid people. Number one, mostly it's always from maybe a certain group of a village, which of course majority comprises of a certain tribe, because understanding African countries, of course, we do have tribes. So go to a group of people who are poor, who have not seen what you're about to offer. They just think about it, hear about it. Offer them, of course, this money is nothing to these people, understand that. Offer them money, but it's something to an African who has not seen something, right? Offer them money, give them weapons, and then, since you control the media too, start the propaganda. Not saying you're the one fueling this, or this tribe is against this tribe, or this tribe has formed, or this, and then this causes, of course, hate within the country. Now, these all tribes or different tribes are hating on these tribes, or I don't know, but you get what I'm trying to say, right? In Burkina Faso, it's different. This video actually shows a bunch of the things the mainstream media today is claiming that they are bad things. He took the land back from the armed groups, built a brand new airport. He said no to the Western loans. He built highways without foreign money. He started a huge 5-year growth plan. The evil things that they are calling, that is the evil things. He took back the mines. He grew enough food to feed the country. He made schools better and more available. He paid off the national debt, literally. So these are evil things, you know. Understand that those are evil things based on the mainstream media or the white people who want, of course, to take back the country so bad. They want to take the country back so bad. But the people who have done nothing, they are being praised left, right, and center, are not being called out like Ruto. This issue of insecurity is not supposed to be is, you know, of concern, you know.
Santi Sana, good morning. Good afternoon.
Good morning. Good afternoon. How
Not
you doing?
gonna stay long. I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Since somebody got a new hairstyle out here, watch out.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. Okay. Playing your tribal thing. It's called divide and rule. So that's what's happening right now in South Africa, because the Africans, as they got conquered by other people, they have so much self-hate. So that was given to all African people globally, that they hate themselves and they hate other Africans. So it'd be easy to rule like that. So that's what you see it descending in now in South Africa, where you got the, the South Africans have already kicked out the majority of the other Africans. Now they're practicing what tribalism. They're now going for other tribes and killing the other tribes openly. So right now, over the weekend, you got the South African nuts going to other South Africans and killing them. This how I know these governments, these South African governments fail. But they're going down to people's homes that are South Africans, that are not foreign nationals, that are actually born and raised South Africans, dragging them out their house, beating them to death. So it turns into tribalism, because the African, amongst more than anybody else, has been taught to hate themselves. So you're dealing with the self-hate. And so since the African hasn't got rid of the tribes, like everybody else, most people got rid of the goofy tribes in the world. The African still has it. So that becomes a danger to a country when you see yourself as the other. All right. So then also in Burkina Faso, they finally clearly showing that it's the European, but we've been in the Europeans behind all these terrorist groups. Europeans, Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda's, shout out to even Torre and them telling you, you're behind all this. Duh. I think the African took too long. It might not be Joe, maybe Africans are slow learners. Because you should realize who's got the money for all these motorcycles and bikes and weapons when these goopy niggas don't have jobs. And they don't give you no money. Where's the money coming from? Ain't come from no fake terrorists, some terrorists, Boko Haram and Al Shabaab. What? where are their businesses at? Somebody show me where the Al Shabaab business is in Somalia that's got the money to go into Kenya. Somebody show me where their business at to fund all this stuff. And just like we find out with South Africa, who's funding it? You know it's a white man, but these people ain't got them broke. So how are these people going? Because South Africa's not a huge country, but it's a pretty significant sized country. Not about a little bit bigger than Texas, but who's funding these people to go to Durban, all the way up to Johannesburg, all the way over to Cape Town? Who's funding it? It ain't these poor Africans who ain't got no money, crying about jobs. Who's funding all this shit? You already know. Europeans fund it. You're the cats with the hats. So that's what's going on, guys. When you're talking about this, and they inflict tribalism because Africa's wealthy.
Exactly.
It's wealthy. Africa's not poor. People are poor. Africa's not poor. It's where you get all the great, best farmland in the world. You got all the minerals. That's why they keep it destabilized and people running here and there like the Congo. Why the Congo has never been free since the white man showed up 400 years ago. Since this white man showed up there, and it's been messed up ever since. They've been fighting ever since. So that's what's going on in Africa. So shout out to Ibrahim Traoré. When they got rid of France, he said we clearly know it's France. All these fake jihadists that they try to call rebels, these terrorists. Remember their language is always different when they try to push one of their fake narratives. They call them rebels, the terrorists that France is sponsoring. And shout out to Ibrahim Traoré cut down. They closed another TV station. That's right. You must control the narrative or your media is owned by white people. You must shut it down and get rid of it because they're pushing a fake narrative of your people, indoctrinating your people. That should have been your first thing. Trying to be to me, Ibrahim's been too nice. If I take over a country in Africa, all media goes away. Unless it's black owned and it's black revolutionary. Anything else, you're getting shut down and go somewhere else. You won't be operating in the country I just took over. But go ahead, Chelsea. I'm done.
Thank you. Literally. So it's a distraction to just keep us. It's a distraction. Literally, number one, to keep us not aware of what is happening. For us to never understand the deals they are always making, of course, with the puppets, the so-called presidents, and that's why we see the mining companies, which are in majority. There's no real jobs created. So you go back to modern day slavery, working for the same person who's keeping you divided and controlling
exactly what it is. Exactly.
It's really, really crazy.
Exactly what the good word. Modern day slavery.
But shout out to Ibrahim Traoré for standing firm and showing other African countries again why they're trying to assassinate him. It's possible. You can do it without the white man presence. You can do it without the funds. All you need to do is just take control of your resources, educate your people, which is very important.
And not be a coward.
Yeah, lack of education has been our biggest
obstacle.
Yeah, obstacle, literally. That has been our biggest problem, because people, understand we're coming from a generation of people who could not read and write. So with also the generation of presidents we have.
But Joby, if I'm your enemy and I'm trying to dominate you, why would I educate you to overthrow?
They have been ruling a class of uneducated people who could not read and write.
Of course.
People were just talking their tribes. Even Swahili was a problem. Trust me, I've grown up with some generation of my aunties and some cousins who didn't talk Swahili at all. I'm like, dang, Swahili is a big deal. When then me being a child, I'm trying to make English a big deal. You think Swahili is a big deal? It's crazy. You sound like it's like you're flexing on people on the village because they don't know Swahili.
Right,
It's
yeah.
fun.
So it means the world. Yeah. So they only know the tribal language. So what that does, Joe, but that shortens your world. It makes your world smaller because you only can communicate with the people in your tribe. You can't even communicate with the people in your whole country. So it makes you not even. So that's how it makes you not even viable as a threat to white power. You don't even know.
Exactly.
You don't have the understanding of what even rules you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's on purpose. So go ahead.
Exactly. So many times when you go to the village, you meet a group of like our grandparents or great. They had to have a translator telling them something in
See.
their mother tongue because they don't understand Swahili. So it's really really crazy. So we're dealing with a class of the same generation, but now the difference, they have just been given that privilege by the white people to get just a bit of information of what you're doing as a puppet, number one, not as a leader, as a puppet. So the fact that you've been like Museveni, look at Museveni, how many generations? And the Negro is still a president till to date. And now we have the son talking crazy
Talking
to the
crazy. I
rest.
think it's talking crazy. I think he's talking crazy because it's. I think Yosemite might be worse off than we think. He's already 81 or 82, so he's probably close to dying. So his son is trying to uh, 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 centralize power under him. So when his dad dies, he can claim he's got control of the country. you know, because it's not a real democracy.
It's crazy. So that's why you can see the Gen Zs and specifically from Kenya or even other countries, because it's not just Kenya where we have some bright Gen Zs, don't get me wrong. We have this generation where there's a bunch of young, educated, smart,
It's a
and now
it's a generational shift, yo. Generations usually coming through vibration, so it's not really Kenya. Kenya might be at the forefront of Africa, but all Gen Zs are going to have a certain characteristics, Joby. When you find them in Ghana, Nigeria, they're going to have a certain characteristics of that generation. So Gen Z is going to be more, as they show right now, more rebels, more not taking, what the old people have tried to make them do and trying to find their own way and fighting for more justice. So that seems to be the characteristics of Gen
mhm.
Z.
As we move on, we have more news and updates. Positive coming from, of course, still the Alliance Sahel state, Niger, where they say that there's going to be now life imprisonment of the Niger officials who,
Corrupt.
or even death sentence for large scale embezzlement of public funds, which is
About
amazing.
time. About
Mhm.
time. And understand the UN, all them trying to stop that because they know that they corrupt all these puppets. In Africa, there's no accountability. That's why the stealing continues. This is what happens in China. You get caught stealing, they don't even give you life imprisonment. You're getting a bullet in the head. So exactly. I like them. So Africa's them doing life imprisonment, or you're getting murdered. You're getting, you know, done with. But that's got to be in there. 'Cause Africa is allowed to become too corrupt with no accountability. This has got to be put back in. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, so they're saying Niger has introduced some of its toughest anti-corruption penalties, yet with officials now facing life imprisonment or even death penalty for large-scale embezzlement of public
That's
funds,
right.
country's revised penal code. Under the new law, anyone found guilty of embezzling 200 million CFA francs, that is about $350,000 or more, can be sentenced to life imprisonment for embezzlement exceeding 1 billion CFA francs, that is 1.7 million US dollars, and the punishment can be death penalty. And the revised penal code was adopted by Niger's transitional authorities as part of the broader legal reforms aimed at tackling corruption and strengthening accountability in the management of public funds. The
The
changes
bribe
introduced.
culture. Africa, Africa's
Mhm.
created a bribe culture, family. See, like I told you, she reading Nigeria. This not just this Kenya, Nigeria. This whole thing said about Europe. It's a bribe culture. You can't function as a real country. Everybody's getting bribed. Shit don't work. Shit don't work because they've set up a corrupt system of bribery. Africa didn't work like this. This is the white man. See everything. When you go back to I'll just start. Where it come from? White people again. It's not, that's why you know this is not an accident, because it's not just in because you think, oh, this is just Kenya. Go to Nigeria, same shit. Ghana, same shit. Niger, same shit. Burkina Faso, same shit. Tanzania, same shit. Uganda, same shit. All this same fucking bribery culture that you can't build an economy because no one trusts it. Everybody's getting bribed. Shit don't work. You know, they say you can go into Nigeria with bombs and all kinds of shit. All you gotta do is bribe the motherfuckers at the damn border. And, you know, so nothing don't work. You just bribe somebody at the border. Here you go. Get this money. You got a bomb in there? Yeah. Well, don't worry about it. Give me the bribe.
Yeah, but as we move on, we also have, of course, the main conversation about Ibrahim Traore, who has banned the NGOs from photographing Africans in vulnerable situations without dignity. They're saying that the move is intended to discourage the use of images of poverty and suffering for public and fundraising without respect for the people being photographed. I keep on talking about this, and I love using a very good example with
some of the poverty porn.
Yeah, I keep on talking about this, and I always say also Africans, we're the problem at some point. We've allowed this to continuously keep on happening. I use this analogy very simply because it keeps on repeating itself. Maybe I have a husband. No, he's a husband. I have maybe I live in a village where there's cholera, and this is literally, of course, the information is out there that this village specifically there is a high rate or cases of cholera, and I'm one among the victims or survivors every single time. But we have these people, the CNN, the BBC, these big media companies who are always coming with the mic and the camera every single time. Oh, you're a victim of cholera, right? How has it been? How's your suffering been? What is it that you can tell the world how we can help you? And that is the first year. That is the first interview. So, of course, personally, critically thinking, I'm expecting help because I go back to the question. You said, how can we tell the world out there how to help you, right? Or how can we offer you help? Of course, this is why we have the NGOs that they use that chance and all that. But the next time the same cholera outbreak happens, I'm again among the victims. And then you come again with a mic, because what I've understood when you follow up actually most of the interviews with the BBC or this, and in a certain place where there's always a certain problem, there's always that one coon or that one guy who's always ready to talk and understanding they have never received help ever. So why should I continue repeatedly keep on showing on your camera with your goddamn mic, you asking me the same questions, yet you've never brought any solution? Where is the money that the media, that's why we go back to now facts, because there's always some, this country has received this amount of money to help these people. Where is the money? Because definitely it didn't land to me. It didn't land to this community. It has not helped anyone. So the next time you come here, I have the right to beat you up, and I don't condone violence, don't get me wrong, but I have the right to kick you out with your cameras, and don't you ever come back here again. But white people don't, also a culture with white people have understood, they don't like respecting Africans' privacy. They are always, it's that common phrase we always see nowadays in the videos. You'll be minding your business as a black person, but white people are always on your business for no goddamn reason. We've seen these people, they'll come to Africa in many different villages or community where people, again, are not educated, so much informed. They take advantage, film all this culture, which is not even supposed to be filmed. I think there's one that went viral, I think either last year or 2024, of a group of certain community which has a certain intimate spiritual, practices.
Practice.
But this white person went ahead and filmed this, and showed it to the world. Like, what? Without consent, despite being told don't do this. Of course, I'm a white person. What, what are
Because
you
exactly, because exactly, they don't respect you. And respect, exactly. And show respect. Exactly right.
Yes, that's the where the problem starts. Personally, every time maybe I'm walking to town, there's a time I was even walking to town. There's this white guy who was like filming. I had to walk on the side because you're not about to put me on your vlogs talking crazy. I'm not about to appear on your camera. You talking crazy. What the hell are you doing here? Why are you even filming here? Who even gave you the right? Personally, I just get irritated when I
Because it
see these
makes
people
money.
having a privilege that I myself am shy of. Like, I can't just go to town, start filming. My phone is gonna go. It's gonna disappear. You're gonna be seeing some goons, filming from my phone. But because you have the white privilege, you think you can just do anything you
That's
want, man. It's crazy.
that's right. Glad you understand that.
Show me one
Glad you understand
country
that.
that USAID was in and education improved. Show me what country where USAID was in and healthcare improved.
Exactly. There's nothing. There's nothing these people have helped.
Ever. No.
Yeah, so even these
That's the
African leaders
scam, Joe.
try.
They did it still, Joe. It's a scam, exactly. I got to come up with an excuse why I'm in the country, Joby. I got to come up with an excuse that you poor wretched niggas are broke and backward while I'm stealing, and I've got to show I'm trying to help you, even though I'm still, and I'm giving you $100 while I'm stealing 5,000 from you. that's how, that's how the scam goes, Joe.
The social services they're bringing, it's peanuts. The American taxpayer needs to know.
Exactly. Pause it, Joe. Pause it. Like when Joby and Katie told me when they bought us chocolate and Tom's shoes. I said, you know that's your shit, right? Do you know that's your shit? They come to school with the shit they steal from you and call it a donation. That's your shit. Rubber comes from Africa. Chocolate comes from Africa. That's the shit they stole from you. And you're like, oh, they're so good. They come and help us. Why they make billions of dollars off the shit they steal from you and come give you the crumbs. That's the scam.
Millions of dollars that are being given to USAID. A fraction is making it to the people. Let's look at what HIV/AIDS was used to do. We know of a program that was run out of South Africa where they actually were injecting people with the virus. The reason some of the AIDS virus spread as rapidly as it did in Southern Africa.
Hey, Sister O'Connor, you think it was just South Africa? You know it wasn't. Remember, Africa is conservative. So ain't nobody got no AIDS through no fucking. I've been said that. Go ahead.
Very dirty games being played on African people. They were using Africans as guinea pigs for experimental activities.
Still are. They still are. Let's not use past tense. They still are. They still are here. That's why we can see this push of African countries being told to take some certain amount of money from America, for future pandemics, for malaria, for HIV and AIDS. Now I'm like, HIV and AIDS, while in Kenya we just saw literally 1 billion worth of HIV drugs expired when people were actually demanding help, or calling on the USA, don't stop, okay. They still are using us as guinea pigs.
Even when you look at every aspect, they're using us as guinea pigs. Yes, there is some good, a percentage of some good, but not all of it is done with good intentions. You look at agriculture, they're destroying African agriculture by introducing those GMOs. You plant your seed in one season, your soil is finished. We used to have seeds that we can use from one season to the other. The introduction of GMOs through these agencies, USAID is one of them. We're destroying Africa in a massive way. A little good is coming out, but by and large, the end result, they mean no good. They can turn around and give us an inventory and say, as long as you have been in Africa and also other parts of the world, show us your success rate. You claim you are helping governments with education and healthcare. Show us your success rate.
But I also turn around and say, African governments, why do you need this little aid to assist you in providing proper health care, proper education? The average African government can afford to provide those services for their people. Why does such a continent that did so much to help Europe recover continue to be so poor? Let's be realistic here. Let's not talk about peanuts. Africa does not need the aid. What we need is for those who are exploiting Africa to stop. Africa has everything it needs. If Africa could have contributed
exactly
as much
doesn't need anything.
as it did
Africa
to the recovery
Africa
of
is the
Europe.
only continent that doesn't need anything from anybody. It's the only continent that can stand up on its own. It's the only continent. And it ain't funny, and it's got the poorest people in it. Africa is the richest continent that doesn't need anything from anybody else, but it has the poorest people. Make it make sense?
Post-World War II, why wasn't Africa equally developed? This is a wake-up call to the African leaders to take inventory of what is really happening in their
Ain't nobody was saying that but me. Ain't nobody was saying that with me. Europe was completely destroyed. Everybody says it now. Europe was completely destroyed. And they got redeveloped through Africa again, but Africa's still underdeveloped. They went in and rebuilt all of Europe off of Africa, and even goofy Asia, even China and all that shit in Asia. They got developed off the Africans' back, and Africa's still underdeveloped. And you don't know that there's such thing called racism and exploitation in the world. You don't ask me, Keith, why you blame the white man? If you don't get out my face, you moron.
Do they really need the peanuts that are coming in as aid? What is really going out? If I may use the example of what happened in Niger when the government decided they were going to take over the mining of their uranium. The French companies that were mining the uranium were paying the government 80 cents a kilo for the uranium, and then turning around and selling the uranium to the rest of the world at 200 euros a kilo. So that one move from the Nigerian government to say we are now going to take ownership of our own uranium, they went from realizing about $1 billion in uranium resources to over 300 billion a year. Do you realize what I'm talking about? No amount of NGO could bring that kind of money. And this is only one mineral. Now imagine the country taking inventory of all their minerals and benefiting from their natural resources like the rest of the countries in the Western world. That is what African leaders need to look at.
Do you see that in the horizon of African leaders right now? Do you see them? Who do you see as the standout winners of that kind of change? And who do you think is still chasing AID contracts?
Let me tell you, we need to look at what's happening in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. President Traore is standing up. He is saying the natural resources in Burkina Faso, they belong to the people of Burkina Faso. Niger is doing the same thing. Mali is doing the same thing. Every leader must look at what's happening in the Sahel nations to say, like anybody else, you must take care of your people. You have your natural resources. You have everything you need to take care of your people. Why do you continue to be beggars? Look at what is being brought in by not only USAID, but all the NGOs in your country. It's peanuts. It's a joke that the African leaders should continue to be beggars of peanuts when you are looking and allowing billions to get out of your country.
Imagine, it's sad because they were so busy begging when the USAID said they're going to cut funds. Oh, don't stop. Why are you begging? Why? It's crazy.
Year in and year out, if not trillions in natural resources that your people should be benefiting from. It is a wake-up call
people in
for
Africa
African leaders
know
to wake up and say, President Trump is saying, US first, America first. You too must say, your country first. Because you have everything it takes. It is a joke. It is embarrassing to see I have not seen any African leader cry over USAID living. I can tell you for a fact, the average African leader privately is celebrating the exit of USAID because they know what is really going on.
Do they?
When the white man was forced out of Africa, what he did was he divided Africa along ethnic lines. Basically what he did during colonization, every country, they chose one ethnic group that would be the house Negroes. You see that? So let's take Nigeria. You have Yoruba, you have Igbo, you have Hausa, you have other groups, right? In every country, you got dozens, if not hundreds of ethnicities, right? So the white man said, I'm gonna pick and choose 2 or 3 of these. These are the ones I'm gonna trust. I'm gonna treat them real good. When I leave, I'm gonna leave them in charge. So what's automatically gonna happen? All the other groups are going to go against them because you're the ones who helped them oppress us for 100 years. So the white man did that on purpose to make sure he always had somebody he could trust.
Yep, and it works very, very well. But as we literally get closer to winding up, let's look at this one as well. Looking at what Ibrahim.
How can we help foster the public-private partnerships, bringing American capital and expertise and standards to Africa so that we can keep exploiting? So that we can
they can keep exploiting,
exploring,
exploiting
where we can get these minerals.
So now we accept that political stability in Africa is bad business for organizations like UNHCR and UNICEF, the better. These organizations were literally closing down their offices in Southern Africa. Boom, the people of DRC start dying. The same Congolese who exposed the UN for stealing minerals and hoarding it in their offices. The same UN that was exposed by the Congolese people for causing instability in some parts of Congo are now dying. When we are killing each other and dying, they are going around the world begging for billions of dollars because we are dying. It's good business for them. As long as there's people donating to organizations like UNICEF and UNHCR, we always die as Africans. When we stop fighting, they don't make money. What assurance do we have that if these organizations actually are not funding wars in Africa? But what assurance do we have that UNICEF, the injections they are giving to our children, are actually safe? The same organizations that say that we are overpopulated as Africans.
They are exactly. They are not. They are not. It's not helping. It's just up to us now to say no more to this, and that has to start with our leaders again. The moment we kick out these puppets, we say we don't want any more puppets. We need an Ibrahim Traore to literally lead these countries. We don't want tribalism. We don't want nothing to do with how this system has been long controlling Africans, then we're going to be free. But if you're going to keep on asking these questions, this is going to be the repeat. This is going to be the repeat. Look at Samia Suluhu right now. Did you know that last week we had some planned demonstration, but Samia Suluhu is so scared because he knows the same thing as Ruto. She's not liked. She stole elections. Of course, the people definitely, if the demonstration have already started popping in Tanzania, it means people are not comfortable with how the country is being led, literally. There's definitely so much that is not favoring people, and they're trying to demand answers. But what did she do? Just like Ruto did, deploy the police officers very early in the morning so that the youth won't demonstrate. Those are the same people begging. Remember when actually she became a president, she begged the American companies and the mining companies to come and exploit Tanzania to see what they can offer. How do you invite your enemy to come literally have the whole plate while you've not even eaten a goddamn thing? It's really, really crazy and very embarrassing. But shout out to Ibrahim Traore again. He's showing you and showing us how Africa should be controlled. I don't know what's happening around here. What's going on? I don't know what's happening. But yeah, as we literally get to wind up, shout out to John Jabaini, shout out to Sikeni, and Keith for joining me this morning. Yeah, there's something that is buzzing around here. I don't know what's up. But yeah, that has been our conversation for today.
It's gone now.
Okay. We're going to continue from there tomorrow as we look at what is trending. But of course, we're coming back with the Rhythm Scoop Show. We're going to be talking about the weekend recap. It's been happening so much. Tonight, we'll pick it up from the Africa Today show as we talk about the 4th July and so much what has happened during this particular weekend. So have yourself a beautiful rest part of your morning. And yes, any closing remarks, Keith, maybe you have? Well, I don't know.
Closing remarks, guys. You guys got, yeah, maybe close remarks. I couldn't come on. Booked a lot, man. My house was like goddamn. Fireworks are everywhere. Booms, cannons. I couldn't get rid of the noise. I couldn't go outside till everybody stop their fireworks because it's the 4th. It was boom, 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 boom. Yeah, man, I can't do no show with this kind of racket. So that's why they come on Saturday. It's just too much. That noise was boom, 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 boom. So,
But yeah,
that's
much
all.
love. A beautiful rest part of your morning. Peace, and I'm out.